Hey everyone, welcome back. So my last couple videos I was working on chopping the body down to just the panels that I needed, and today we're going to be working on cleaning those up, sanding all the rough edges, gluing the grill back together to the right width, as well as filling all the holes that were pre-drilled for the fender flares since I won't be using them. Like I mentioned in my last videos, I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've watched some YouTube videos, read some articles, and I think I have an idea, so I'm just gonna kind of jump into it and struggle my way through it and hope for the best. Again, if you have any suggestions, if I'm doing something way wrong, just comment below. Yeah, so let's just get going. I feel like I've been putting this off for like the last week, trying to figure it out in my head, and I'm just tired of thinking about it, so we're just gonna do it, and if it sucks, it sucks. So hopefully it doesn't, so we'll see. So this is everything that I will be working with today. So of course the front and rear panels. This is all for the grill, as well as that. And then these are some tools, some body putty, and sanding sticks. This one I tried doing off camera, and I just took a little bit of this putty and like put it on my fingertip and rubbed it in the hole. Didn't really work. It worked okay, but when I realized that wasn't gonna work, I went out and picked up some of these tools. This is probably way more than I need. So I'm gonna try putting a little bit of tape on the fenders and then just poking the holes through and putting the putty in that way. And then once it's dry, peeled the tape off. That way there isn't a ton to sand on the outside. So that's a trick from woodworking, which is a little hobby of mine, where when you want to fill nail holes or something, instead of just smearing the wood filler on over the hole, you put tape over it, then you put the nail through, and then you put the wood filler over it, and that way the wood filler only goes into where the nail is. So I'm going to try it with this and see if it works. If it does, great. If not, I just won't do it again. Putting the grill back together is going to be a bit of a challenge, just to like trying to keep it straight and everything. Like I'm going to try to get it as straight as I can, of course. I'm not super worried about it, because this is meant to look like kind of a rock rig. So if things are a little bit off, or you know, if there's some little holes in it, I can just call it trail damage or something. So I have some ideas on how to do that, but I think we're gonna start with the panels and getting these filled in. So I think the first thing to do is just get rid of all of this stuff we don't need. So right now we are just working on these guys. I'm going to put the tape down and go from there. So you can see that I've got these two little holes here, but now only the holes are covered. So when I fill the body filler in, you know, I don't have to worry about it getting all over the outside edge as well. And so it should be really, really easy to clean up afterwards. That's the hope. This may not work at all. Who knows? Again, I'm just bumbling my way through this, so we will see what happens. That is done now. Only took a few minutes, which is nice. So a lot of the holes aren't drilled all the way through, as you can see. And so I want to just be able to poke through the back. That way the tape would come out instead of pushing on this side and the tape goes in the hole. So what I did is when I poked, I kind of moved it around a little bit, and then I tried to pull the tape back out so that there wasn't any in the hole. So next up is to grab one of these little guys. And I think we're just going to go with like just the straight flat one, which should be pretty easy. So I can just put some on and then just smear it in and hope for the best. I am just using Tamiya putty for this. It seemed to have pretty good reviews, and I figured, Tamiya has been in this game for so long, like they must know what they're doing. So we're just going to take a little bit, put it right on the end there, and then put that away and just smear some in. So now you can see all of this stuff that's extra. When it's dried, I can just peel off the tape and I don't have to worry about sanding all of this down, when all I really need is this tiny little dot right there. So while that is drying, I am gonna start working on putting the grill and everything back together. And I have an idea to keep it all straight. I'm gonna try something. And again, I have no idea what I'm doing during all of this. So I'm hoping that there are people watching this who are maybe a little bit too timid to jump into a project like this, and they can see me bumbling through it and figure, if he can do it, I can do it. So I think more important than anything, it's not necessarily the tools that you have or your experience or know-how or anything like that. I think more important than anything is just taking your time and kind of thinking it through. So I'm gonna go try something. So as you can see, I had this thought. So I have this piece of wood that I've cut down earlier. This edge is flat here. So my thought was I can just kind of butt these up against, that way I know these are straight and everything. And then I can kind of glue this piece in. And again, that way I know that everything is lined up the way it should be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna put a piece of tape down, sticky side up, underneath this bit, stick everything down to it, and then just run some CA glue down into that seam and let it cure, and then I can start putting everything else in as well. That nice and straight. So I'm going to start by putting one of the grill pieces down, kind of just right in the middle there. Put this piece of wood up to it, then I'm going to put this one down. I'm not going to this is just to get the spacing. So next goes this guy. I'm gonna butt this one right up to the wood, stick that one down. So these guys are on there, and then I can just kind of put this one here right in the middle, get it lined up, and stick it down. Okay, I'm gonna double check. Looks pretty straight to me. Okay. And then before I do any gluing, I am just going to double check and make sure that the grill fits, which it does. And then this little piece, which goes on the bottom, and this one's going to be tricky to glue in, but that I think is actually going to have to be cut down just a little bit. Okay, so that's got to dry 10 to 25 seconds is what it says. The glue kind of pooled up right here. I'll try to scrape that away as best I can. And we'll have to, of course, sand that down a little bit. Okay, so now we just wait for that to dry, I guess. So I don't trust this joint that I just glued. There's not a lot of surface area to bond. Plan is to cut these down a little bit more to the final length that I need. And then kind of these are going to be the main support structure. You know, the joint that I just did will actually be somewhere right in here. And so there's a ton of material on either side that should provide a ton of surface area for the glue to bond to and make that joint much, much stronger. Additionally, there is a cavity that runs underneath all of this, and I might just take just one strip of styrene or something and just put it in there and just glue it in, put a ton of glue. That way I don't have to worry about that bond breaking. There'll be so many pieces holding it all together. But first, we're gonna sand this piece down. Just gonna take it real slow and just keep checking. And yeah, just kind of little by little checking. And I think that's good. It really did not take very much at all. So yeah, we're just gonna put a little bit of glue on this joint and slide that in. It's been a while since I've worked with CA glue and I forgot how it gets everywhere if you are not careful. It is all over my fingertips now. And I have to be sure I get this the right way. So these mounting tabs, which are supposed to go into the back of the grill area, are supposed to be on the bottom. Okay, and I'm just going to butt it up against that piece of wood again. Looks like it's nice and straight. And we're just going to let it sit for a few seconds and cure. Okay, so while that is drying, I think we're going to move our attention to these quarter panels. It all makes sense in my head. This tape trick, we're going to see if it works at all, so we're just going to kind of slowly peel it off. So it looked like some of it worked and some of it didn't. So you can see some are kind of filled, some are not filled at all. I really wanted that to work. I thought it would work. If you do this yourself, don't bother with using tape. It just doesn't work. So we are going to take our little tool here and I guess we're just going to have to do it again. It's done. It's messy, way messier than I wanted it to be. Sanding. Now it's a whole bunch of sanding. Obviously the body filler has to be sanded down, but also all of these joints have to. And I think that is going to be the next video. I think for now, this is pretty good. I feel pretty good kind of leaving it here. And then in the next video is just going to be sanding. So look forward to that one. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave a comment, like, you know what to do. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Like I said, I'll try to get to every comment that I can. I hope you enjoyed it. And look forward to the next one where it's just sanding. Oh boy.